The Xbox 360 turns 20 years old today, and I think we should celebrate. Anyone who was gaming back then felt the hype. Launching a full year before the PS3 and at a lower price too, the Xbox 360 was more than competition. It helped shape what modern consoles would later become. Xbox Live made online multiplayer mainstream. This was also the first console with Netflix, and it had both massive multiplayer hits like Halo 3 as well as Gears of War, in addition to basically every single major single-player game of that era. We're talking Oblivion, Skyrim, all 3 BioShocks, Red Dead Redemption, the Mass Effect trilogy, LA Noire, 6 mainline Assassin's Creed games, and of course there was a ton more. The Red Rings of Death almost tanked the 360's reputation. But even with that, the 360 and PS3 ended up selling similar numbers by the end. And yet, there's no denying Microsoft's second console hit the industry like a meteor. It changed everything. My name is Paul, this is Load and Behold, and in case you can't already tell, I love the Xbox 360. And so did one of my friends, who literally ran out and bought another one because theirs red-ringed and they couldn't help but immediately get back to playing Halo. That's how wonderful the 360 era was. It was a cultural phenomenon. Which is why it's kind of sad comparing that era to where Xbox is now. From a console that pioneered digital storefronts and indie games with something like Xbox Live Arcade, to now releasing a $1,000 handheld during a time of declining home console sales for Xbox and a muddled brand identity. Kids today yearn for the mines of Minecraft, or maybe the brain rot of Roblox. I yearn for Gamerscore, couch co-op, and ubiquitous online gaming. I know some of you are tired of hearing about Microsoft's recent missteps, which I do want to talk about, but first, let's go back to when the word Xbox actually meant something special. I remember it like yesterday, saving up years of birthday money and gift cards to buy the Xbox 360 Crackdown bundle that I found on Newegg. By some miracle, it showed up basically 12 hours after I ordered it. I was late to the party. Most of my friends already had their 360s, but finally joining that club felt incredible. Crackdown was great, but it didn't prepare me for what would come next. Exploring Xbox Live Arcade was magical. I spent entire summers playing Castle Crashers in couch co-op. I got hypnotized by Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus until I hit top of the leaderboard on one of the courses. I downloaded indie games that would have never existed on older consoles like Comic Jumper and Splosion Man. I didn't realize it at the time, but the 360 was just as much an indie machine as it was a AAA powerhouse. And of course, who bought a 360 and didn't get Xbox Live? That's where I fell in love with multiplayer shooters like Bad Company 2. And while the online chat was always a bit toxic, this was where I forged my love for multiplayer shooters. Xbox at this time was building a real ecosystem, a real sense of loyalty. I was very lucky to have a PS1, PS2, GameCube, and original Xbox before this, but none of them fused online multiplayer with amazing single-player as well as couch co-op experiences like the 360 did. Yes, I know in the long run the PS2 sold a lot more, and the PS3 eventually caught up too, but the impact of the 360 was what everyone else was chasing. The PS3 had heavy hitter exclusives like Uncharted, Metal Gear Solid 4, Killzone, The Last of Us, and that's just naming a few. But in my world, we didn't care and quite frankly didn't know what we were missing anyways. My entire circle was green. On the metaphorical playground, Xbox was the social console, while PS3 players were seen as quieter, more isolated, and less online. A lot of my nostalgia also comes from my cousin, who introduced me to some of the best gaming memories I have. The Oblivion intro music still fills me with warmth, and our obsession with BioShock's messaging is something that's still with me to this day. He also showed me games I probably wasn't supposed to be playing at that age, like Dead Rising, which had me vibrating with excitement. He even taught me how to use Microsoft points to secretly buy GTA 4 digitally, so that mature rating case wouldn't rat me out to my parents. Luckily for them, I was never a GTA guy, but for some reason, they let me buy Red Dead Redemption from GameStop. The story, the atmosphere, the quality of the animations and voice work for that game felt like an evolutionary experience that we could have never imagined before. But the 360 kept on going. I remember the 2-disc release of LA Noire and Mass Effect. I remember the first Crysis that came to consoles, Crysis 2. The 360 felt like a bridge welcoming indies and AAA games alike, all while fueling multiplayer mayhem. Maybe that's why my glasses are so rose-tinted. It was also the last console I truly owned before building my first gaming PC out of parts garbage picked by my dad. That's a true story, by the way. But even after moving to PC, I still felt like an Xbox kid. And that's why it hurts seeing what Xbox feels like now. Prices have been raised on the Series S and X years after their launch. Game prices are up too, with Microsoft testing some games at $80. Game Pass has risen in price too to $30 a month, with studios closing left and right despite Xbox making major profits. It feels like part of the Xbox identity has just been lost, part of the fun too. But let's be honest, the 360 and Microsoft at that era wasn't perfect. It cemented the trend of console manufacturers charging you to play online, and some games like Far Cry 3 ran at abysmal frame rates. It's a mixed history for sure, but I can't help but wonder how we strayed so far from gamers being excited about the brand and consoles themselves to now a $1,000 handheld that can't even play the latest Call of Duty out of Wi-Fi range. I just don't feel that same spark of innovation with Xbox that I once did. To be clear, Xbox still releases great games. It just feels odd when the Game Awards is shown in context with games released day one on Game Pass instead of just games released on Xbox. Exclusives aren't the only thing measuring a console's success though. It can also be excitement over the brand and the hardware, which was exactly how I felt when Valve unveiled a dedicated gaming PC, the Steam Machine, finally, powered by the lessons learned with the Steam Deck. This feels like a dream. Combine this with a genuinely evolutionary controller and a VR headset on the horizon too. It feels like Valve is chasing the magic Xbox and PlayStation used to have. The feeling that the hardware itself is exciting. I'm probably not the target audience for a Steam Machine since I've already got my gaming PC as well as a Steam Deck. And even though I've been critical of Valve too, with the way they allow developers to distribute updates to their games, I've replaced my Xbox enthusiasm with Valve and Steam, and it feels like the console wars are back alive again, but in a good way. Please, don't get me wrong, I can be critical and still not wish Xbox itself to fail. But I do want them to stop consulting a spreadsheet before making every decision. The 360 turning 20 is bittersweet. It reminds me of everything I loved about Xbox, but it also highlights how much of that identity has slipped away. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling. I want to hear from all of you. What memories do you have with the Xbox 360? Let me know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe if you can, and thanks so much for watching.